On today's show, we've got a brand new guest. We have Helen from Gemar. There she is, and she shows us how to make these lovely designs and introduces us to some great Gemar products, including the double action Faster Blaster. Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. And as you can see, we have a brand new guest. It's Helen Clayton from
Cheeky Gorgeous Events.
Cheeky Gorgeous Events. But today, as you may be able to tell by the t-shirts, representing Gemar, aren't you?
I certainly am.
Welcome to BMTV.
Thank you.
It's lovely to have you here.
It's really good to be here.
Could you tell everybody, just in 30 seconds, your story in our industry, just how you got to be to where you are today?
So I've done quite a few different things throughout my career, all customer service based. I love working with people. Face painted for 11 years now.
Okay.
Decided just before COVID to do balloons. So I binged watched BMTV literally before I bought a balloon.
Oh, right, okay.
Decided to do, and honestly, I got so much out of it. So I've watched pretty much every episode. Did my foundation course, bought a few balloons, went from there. The balloon my decor side just took off.
Yeah.
And now I probably do more balloons than face painting.
Yeah.
Still got a nice mixture,
Yeah.
but yeah, love it, love the industry.
Well, thank you for that. Right, let's get into it. What are you going to make for your first BMTV?
So I'm not going like massively creative. It's quite simple. We're going back to basics.
Yep.
So structured designs, adding a little bit more sort of value for money on your balloons. We've got a few new products that we've launched, which I'd love to show you today. So I've got 3 designs, a little bit of helium, a little bit of air filled, because we want to bring helium back.
Yes.
It's for me, I do a bit of decor, a bit of what I call everyday balloons, and helium's still widely popular, really is popular.
Yeah, and you were talking yesterday about how people think it's them paying for it, but if you put it in your pricing and everything, it's your customers that pay for it.
Your customers are paying for your helium. 100%, but what you need to do is work out a system of making sure that's covered.
Yeah. Okay, over to you.
First design.
3 designs we've got, let's get through them.
So, our first design, Gemar have got a new range of printed and plain latex balloons, totally suitable for decor. It's the same quality. Some are printed, like I say, some are plain. And I think the good thing about this is you can coordinate your designs, add a bit of texture, even in organic work, air-filled designs. And the plain latex, for me, what I found is if I don't stock, because I've got a stock of balloons that I use every day, if I don't stock a specific colour, they come in packs of 6. So that's more than enough to pull a colour in that I don't use regularly to add to my designs without having that full bag. So those, for me, have been
So the plain balloons
very
come in
handy.
6 as
yes,
well?
Yes, so patterned and plain.
Okay, cool.
And they do come in metallic, shiny and standard colours.
Okay,
so
cool.
We're going to be using the Dino tracks today and creating, I've had a good look around your warehouse and I've pulled out a really lovely balloon that I think's, it's just so versatile. Use it on balloons, but if you do parties and stuff, you can add it to the back of your chair.
Is that the one I didn't know that we sold?
You didn't know you sold, so taught Greg something new today.
Right.
So we're going to use standard green and brown. I've inflated these to 3.5 on the twin air, which roughly, if you're using a balloon sizer, I usually go to about 9 inches. So we've done opposite colours, and obviously to match, it really doesn't matter which way around you put these, but we grab a nozzle from the base of the balloon, push really firm into the middle of the balloon, and wrap that neck round 3 times. Before I go any further, I add in my weight, and this can either be a water weight in a balloon or sand weight.
Yep.
If you're using a water balloon, please notify your customers, because when they pop them, danger happens. So I literally make sure that's nestled right in the balloons, turn it upside down, and again, make sure that's in secure. And the reason I push that into the middle is so that it's not hanging out, but it really gives a nice, firm, solid base.
It does.
If you just put balloons light-weighted like that, adding that weight just adds a little bit of perceived value.
It does.
Just to make the design a little bit stronger. So, next one, again, we're taking a neck from the balloon below.
So you don't knot, you just...
It depends what I'm doing, to be honest, Greg, and it does depend. I mean, we have got really good, strong necks. I won't talk while I'm squeaking. So we have got really long necks on the Gemar balloons. So I wrap that one and then just knot that at the top. But obviously the other option is to use your modelling balloon, take the air out, tie the end, and you've got your ribbon, so you can tie that into your base and then obviously tie that in, so that's another option. And it really depends on, like I say, the latex that you use. These are very flexible.
So is this the sort of design that you would sell yourself?
Do you know what?
What?
I've put that one on the wrong way round.
Have you?
I don't want that one at the top. So I put my weight on. I've done it at the wrong end, haven't I? But you know what, Greg?
I don't know.
I
didn't want to correct you. I didn't want to correct you.
See, Greg says he's not a professional.
I thought you were putting it on in the middle like that on purpose.
No, I want it in the middle. But you know when you do something wrong? I do this every day, so it's just a way of correcting yourself. So
what's that going to feel like?
It's nice and strong.
It's still going to feel quite stable. So you're going to leave it like that? So
that's the base now. So that's literally strong and in place. And then we've got mocha, olive and latte. And what we're going to do with these is just put them through the top balloon, roll it round.
Is this the sort of thing that you sell yourself?
Yes. I mean...
And do you deliver? Do people come and collect?
A bit of both. I've got a lovely... Me and Kerry share a space for work.
Okay.
We have a lovely little room in a community centre by us that's been refurbished. We do a lot of their face painting through the summer. They get a lot of funding from different places, so they put on free activities for the children all the way through summer holidays, and there's all sorts going on, and the kids are just fab, proper cheeky, but we love them like that. So we work within there, so we've got a little side door that they can collect from, and I do deliver, but you know, obviously I used to deliver free of charge, whereas now I've had to put a small price on, just with petrol and stuff.
Yeah, you've got to, absolutely.
Right, so I'm going to move my base to one side just while I show you what I'm going to do with my number.
This is a really cool balloon. I do like this.
This is obviously a standard Grabo 40-inch, which I do love the Grabo numbers. They're really big. You can do a lot with them. But I found this, Greg, in your warehouse.
I know. Genius, isn't it?
How cool is that?
Genius.
So I do really love that. All I'm going to do is put a little bit of tape. So it's
is it a dinosaur tail?
Dinosaur tail.
Or a crocodile? Well, would it be a crocodile?
Party deco, that one.
It could be a lizard. I don't know.
Yeah. Just go for it. So we're going that way. So I'm just going to chuck my tab out the way because I don't like things like this hanging down.
Yep.
Cut all my tabs off on my numbers just to make sure it's obviously all out the way and neat and tidy. And you just need to make sure you tuck the tab the right way so it doesn't show on your design.
See, yeah, very clever.
Again, done that before.
Smart.
So we're going to attach this onto the balloon.
Yep.
I don't always rely on tape for different things, and I wanted to add a little bit of a cluster in there as well. So we're going to use what we call the H method.
Yep.
So this is balloon stretchy tape, and we have half a modelling balloon ribboned. Yep. So we take one piece of tape. I've already done one, and then we just butt that up to see where it needs to go. So I'm going for about here. So that will go comfortably on there. If this tape doesn't stick to your fingers first. Press and seal that down because these tapes do work better with warmth, obviously. The H method, I actually did quite a lot of training with yourselves and Mark back in the day. So I came down to Blue Market and did a lot of my retail training, and I've done quite a bit over the years. But I've got one gentleman, I can't remember what we were doing. It might have been training with Chris Horn at this point. And we were attaching a bubble to a number. And I was like, oh, that's not going to stick very well. And this gentleman, we were having lunch, and he actually drew on his plate the H method. And it's like, you know, sometimes that to me is what training's all about. It may not be, you know, you get together with people, you have a great time, you meet new people, but that little method makes such a difference, and it really does make balloons stick together well, especially if you're going with towers and
Yeah, it's a
stuff
method
like that.
we've seen many times on BMTV. I think it may well have been Mark that first introduced that many years ago.
That he's a walking oracle.
Back in the day.
He is a walking oracle. So obviously we've now got 2 lots of connection points. So all we have to do is tie those together. And again, I leave a little bit of slack. I know they're stretchy balloons, but I still, if I'm adding on another quad, I do leave a little bit of wiggle room just
Is that
to
what
make
you're going to do then? You're going to add a quad there to hide your
Yeah,
mechanics.
hide the mechanics. See,
Yeah.
Greg,
See, I know the lingo. I know the lingo.
I've
Been doing it a while.
Yeah, I've been doing it a while. And to be honest, as much as you are office and you run the business, you make a very good balloon artist.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You've seen me fail miserably many times
yeah,
on
but
BMTV.
I have actually
if
seen
you've
you
watched
do
the
well
back,
as well.
back catalogue.
I saw what you did with Gergo. That heart was incredible.
I don't. Yeah.
Just a little bit, every time somebody's on, a little bit of extra, just try a little, inflate a balloon, add to the decor.
Yeah,
then
yeah,
it's even more authentic then. It's proper balloon market, Greg design.
All right. Okay. Don't encourage people. I don't want to do that.
I think it's the rule.
It's not the rule.
Don't you think?
It's definitely not the rule, Mike, is it? Don't
Yeah,
give the,
the guy's
thumbs
the thumbs up.
Don't give thumbs up.
So we've got the same colour as the little ones that we added in.
Yep.
And these are just 1 pump of the balloon inflator. So that's in a nice firm quad. And all we're going to do is attach that through. And again, as you so eloquently put it, Greg, it's just literally hiding the mechanics just to make sure that sits on there nicely and looks
Lovely.
prettier. I'm going to do the same with this one. And that's why I give a little bit of slack to the 260s. Okay.
Brilliant. I love the tail.
There is a bit of a gap, but you could go even smaller, or you could just wrap a 160 around there if you wanted less of a gap. So, but I just love that. I think
You could
that's
put more balloons
such
in between there if you wanted to.
Yeah, using tape, because that's on nice and solid now. That's
Yeah.
not coming off, sometimes in delivery and stuff. So again, we've just wrapped a ribbon balloon around the neck of the foil balloon. And we are literally now just going to wrap that in to the design and tie it right at the bottom, making sure you're hiding the 260.
So in your unit, are you there every day? In your room?
No, out the weekends I'm out working.
Yeah.
Monday is every Tuesday and every other Monday I have my grandson, so that's my day off, and we do lots of lovely things together. I am going to show that fully designed in a minute, but I'm just
I was going to say, people can't see that now.
Yeah, so because we're doing a little bit of work on the top now, just to finish. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to finish the top off. So yeah, Tuesday I have a day off every week. That's my grandson's day with me. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday are either work days or prep days ready for the weekend.
Okay.
So yeah, works well, but it's just such a lovely space. I can get in and out all day, every day. I've got a massive container outside with all my stock not stock, my stock's inside. All my props and bits and pieces are in the container. So it works perfectly. I work from home.
Yeah.
I've had spaces, worked from home, and it literally just took over my house, my outside shed.
It is nice when you first
so I'm
move
completely out now. And
out
it's
of
just
the house.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Charlotte did me some dino feet.
Yes.
Which is just lovely. So obviously that's using the cricket, which she's an expert in.
She is an expert.
So we're just going to add that, and obviously I personalise everything included in my price. I've priced accordingly.
Yeah.
But I just think the personalisation on anything like this is everybody wants it, and it just makes it that little bit more special. So I always include happy birthday with the child's name on.
Yeah.
For things like this, I don't put personal messages on. It's very standard. But
it's the personalisation just adds that value, so people love it.
It really does. And it's another way of bringing the theme. There's some great numbers coming out now, isn't there? Like the Bluey, Paw Patrol.
Yeah.
Fab little numbers that are themed. But thank you, Greg.
That's all right.
But these just,
That's That's cool.
And I'm sure a lot of balloon artists use this, but if you haven't got a cry cut and you know somebody that has...
Is it a cry cut? Is it a cricket?
Cricket.
Is it a
well,
cricket?
I say cry cut, but I've been told it's cricket.
I don't know what it is.
But there's also the silhouette and everything out there.
Yes,
They're all pretty much the same principle, but yeah, I just think it adds, again, it's about adding value to your design, isn't it? And, you know, making sure it's a little bit special.
Yeah. It's interesting because Charlotte loves the cricket, but Vicky, she uses the cameo. So, yeah, it's really...
I've only ever, because I've used, I mean, I don't even, I actually said to Charlotte yesterday, the function on the cricket machine, I literally do what I need and I know how to use it, but I don't explore anything else. So that tutorial she did was fabulous. It's really good, isn't it? And she did say she's maybe planning on doing a bit more. But I think
we're going to do a few more of those.
Invaluable.
What are these for?
Right. So,
that was a good question,
before I go on to that,
she didn't even acknowledge that I said that was a good question.
It's a good question.
That's a good question. Thank you very much. I just need a little bit of validation. Thank you.
And I'm going to, I don't know if you saw the King Charles that Kerry did.
I did not.
She put 20 balloons inside a balloon, distortion, to make King Charles' head.
Oh, wow.
And honestly, so that's just 3 pumps in there. A little bit of air out. But yeah, she's phenomenal. Her mind, I watch her brain. She did a lion's head once and she sent me one of these and it was like a pinch twist there. And I'm making the lion, I'm like, I can see. But when she showed it me, I don't know how her brain works. So we're going to make some zigzaggy bits just to finish this off and add a little bit of character.
Okay.
So squeeze the balloon to let a bit of air out. We start off with a pinch twist.
You look like an experienced twister to me.
Well, again, the basics that I've learned are from Kerry. Always start with a really good pinch twist because it's, you know, holds everything in place.
Okay.
We're then going to create a little loop, twist that into the pinch twist. And then, again, softening the balloon as we go along. I'm going to leave a little bit of a space. So it's 2-finger bubble. Another pinch twist on there. And you can see as we go along, so same again now. These actually, it doesn't matter if these aren't exactly the same size.
Okay.
Because you could start off small and get bigger.
Yeah.
But what we've found with the length that I'm using, and the reason, you could make this smaller, but I wanted to, again, make sure it's nice and secure. So I've added a small bit of 260 onto the actual tab, just to make sure it's secure. But you can make it smaller and stick it on. That's no problem at all. So that's the structure of what we're doing. Literally a bubble, pinch, twist, zigzag, all the way along.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to do this. Here's one I made earlier.
Oh, very Blue Peter.
Those Blue Peter days.
Yes. Oh,
so
cool.
that just gives you an added little thing. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start and attach the 260 into there. And that
very
one.
nice.
We'll stretch it a little bit just so it fits in there. And then obviously, just to make sure those ends are down, we would finish with tape. But I know this is now on nice and secure. There's nothing worse. Tape, the tapes these days are just phenomenal. There's so many on the market. But I do find, you know, I deliver like, you know, a couple of designs at a time. So you just want to make sure your bubbles are all sat the same way and these are twisted.
You just put a bit of tape on there.
So yeah, just a little bit of tape. And again, you don't need a lot, but that will just then hold those last ones down.
Which is your tape of preference? What do you like?
Do you know what, Greg? It depends on what I'm making.
Okay.
The balloon tape, stretchy balloon tape is a godsend for a lot of things if you're attaching balloons together, because it rather than relying on tape, that just gives you the surety that you need.
Yeah.
Just make sure these are standing in the way. The Oasis tape.
Okay, yeah.
Love that. That's when I'm joining balloons together on my number columns and stuff.
What's happened here? Did I pull that off?
That's okay. Sometimes what you need to do is just you put a bit of tape on the balloon itself. If you find things don't stick, give it a rub, but you can actually put 2 bits of tape on, which will then adhere to each other. So if you're finding you're having problems with your sticky tape, sometimes it's the material on the balloon.
So is this balloon bond that you're using here?
This is balloon bond.
Yeah.
Very easy to use, and I use this again. A lot of people say it's expensive, but for the amount that you need, and again, as long as you're costing it into your job.
Absolutely.
You know, I add 50p on, maybe depending what I'm doing, 50p a pound onto everything.
Yeah.
Just to make sure. And the only other thing I would say is just trim off your little bits because they don't sit. So we'd wiggle with that and make sure it sits nicely.
All right. Very nice.
It is. So that's, I don't know if that will fit on the screen.
Well, let's give it a go.
Ta-da. But this tail, I just think it's just a lovely little thing. And like I say, you could add that to, if you do sort of decor and everything.
If the camera can't see you, you can't, I mean, you can't see the camera can't see you.
So yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, I just think it's just, I saw that and I just thought it's fab. Lovely little
It's
add-on.
lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
Design 1, done. Let's tidy up here and then do design 2. Have you ever heard of the clicky finger thing?
I love the clicky finger.
Clicky finger thing. Okay, let's move this down.
Move it out the
And let's
way.
do the clicky finger thing together. Ready? Can you actually click your fingers? You can as well, can't you? I can't. I just pretend to. Ready?
I'll do this one down here for you.
Okay, all right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey.
Hello.
It's on the wrong side. Don't worry.
Sorry.
It just goes wrong sometimes when people's first time. It's just don't worry. Don't worry. Anyway, okay. Second design. What's it going to be?
This is a woodland theme. So again, we're working with a standard green and we are using a yellow as well to match the helium bouquet that we're going to add in. So we're going to start and do a 5 cluster base.
5 balloon base.
5 balloon cluster base. So we've got 2 duplets, size 2 pumps on the hand pump, 1 balloon singly tied, and we literally just press that down into the middle, wrap it in, extra one tied in securely, and then for a 5 cluster, you just need to sit it so it sits comfortably like that. These don't sit the same way as a quad will, so when you put your next layer on, it keeps it nice and flat. Obviously, I'm using the new Gemar Faster Blaster double action.
Double action Faster Blaster.
They are good. And Greg,
that is a great
I've got a
name.
present for you.
Oh, look at that! I've got my very own double action Faster Blaster.
But it does say on it, Greg.
It does say Greg. Greg.
I can do it.
I can do it. Yeah.
So the challenge is for every show you do now, you've got to do something.
Okay.
I saw what you did with Go.
All right. Okay.
So yeah, so we've got our 5 base, and we then add the water weight.
Yep.
And we've added this lovely.
It's one you prepared earlier.
One I prepared earlier.
Okay, very good.
I love that blue Peter thing.
Yep.
So what we're going to do now is make this. This could be a nice centerpiece.
Yep.
But we're now going to make it a big deliverable party balloon, whichever way you want to go with it. So this is a nice way of adding a feature into your party. So we've got a number 3 again, but the smaller version, and a ladybird.
Oh. A ladybug, if you're in the US.
And helium cluster.
Why do we call it ladybird? Because ladybug is probably more accurate,
It is
isn't
a bug, yeah, because they are everywhere.
In America.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah, but why ladybirds? Because they're not birds.
They're not a bird. Do you know what? We should look that up.
That's where we've got it wrong, here in the
Maybe that should be
UK.
the
America's
question.
got it right.
Ladybug. Is that what they call them in America?
Ladybugs, yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I think it is. If somebody wants to confirm that in the comments, that'd be great, because I could be talking rubbish.
So we've got a standard layered bouquet of the retail packs of 6. So really nice colours, which I thought matched in really well with this.
They do.
I tend to put a knot in my ribbons just to keep them in place.
Yep.
And then we're going to just attach this in. For the point of the camera, obviously, we want to keep it all together. So I am going a little bit lower on here than I would normally.
Yes.
But it just obviously shows.
So obviously air has been the inflation medium of choice over the last few years, mainly because the price of helium has gone up, as many things
Everybody's scared.
But helium is still very, very useful and plentiful now. We do go through phases where it's not so plentiful, but it is plentiful at the moment. We're in May, aren't we? May 2024, so it is plentiful right now. But it's coming back. But because of the price, a lot of people are put off by it. But
Yeah.
you obviously have talked about, you allow for that. And you just make sure that, is it every time you inflate a balloon with helium,
Yep.
you take the cost of that helium in the balloon and just effectively make a note of it?
So I literally have worked out the gas for a 13 inch, which we do, but obviously inflated to 11, 18 inch super shape. And I don't just say, oh, that super shape's this much. I do a generic super shape price, generic bubble price, whatever I'm inflating with helium. And so that's written up on my wall where I work. I've got a nice little work area. Every time, if I do this, it'd be 6. So that'd be, say, if it's £6, I'd write £6 on the wall. I don't have to write the balloons, just the amount. And then when I do my accounts, if it's weekly or monthly, if I'm a bit lazy, I add that up. Whatever figure that is, if it's £80, £100, I've got an account with Starling, which is a brilliant, so we were talking about Monzo, it's pretty much the same thing, but the Starling account is so good at keeping everything, it literally lists what you're spending, how you're spending it. So I then transfer that money into what they call a space. So it's still within the same account, it just doesn't show on your balance, but it's in a pot. So that when I then come to buy my helium, I've got that and possibly a little bit more.
See, my Monzo account, my personal Monzo account is exactly that. So you can just have whatever pots you want. So you divvy up your money so you don't touch it. You don't touch a certain pot.
I put a little bit, I put my tax money aside.
That's really good.
So whatever, whatever my tax bill is for that month, I put that money in the pot as well. And
so you know that's covered when it comes to that time of year.
So I know what's in my account then is spendable, if that makes sense. And you can go as far as having pots. I have done it before. I've had pots for equipment, pots for product. So then whatever you've got in it's almost like your profit. And if you can spend a bit, but save for your equipment. There's always something else. And I'm saving at the moment for a nice flower wall. I want one of them really luxury flower walls. So that's my next spend. I do spend quite a bit, and every time I come here,
but it's an investment, isn't it?
It is, it really is. And it just gives, but equally with props and stuff, I think you've got to buy sensibly, buy something, make it work, add to it. But the profit you're making off that for your hire, put it in your space. And then you've got that to buy more lovely stuff from all the suppliers.
That's the more modern bank accounts, because we've got a Santander business account and you can't do that. Well, I don't think you can do that. But the more modern business accounts like Starling, like Monzo, like all of these, you can have such flexibility.
And free banking.
So,
I get free banking.
Good little tip there.
So that is... just added these little, again, just to bring the 3 in and coordinate. These would be a little bit taller. Could we use the stall, Greg? Because I've just got to add one more thing to this. So I'm going to add that there. And just to finish off the woodland theme, so we're adding in a foil from Garbo, just to bring the woodland theme in. Now we're just going to inflate that. I do advise, whenever you're using helium on foils, to have the proper tools, because they just inflate to the pressure that you need. My dad and I used to do a lot of home decor, and his one thing was use the right tool for the right job. And it does make a difference. And I think it's the same if you are going to get into this industry and you class yourself as a balloon professional. I'm not going into the description of pink pump inflators because they do the same job, but your helium work does work better with the right equipment. It really does.
We're not going to talk about it today, but this is actually the new Gemar equipment, isn't it? So for helium stuff, but we'll do a separate show about that at some point.
Gemar are really sort of working on tools for the professionals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is a really good piece of kit that's going to be out very soon. So that's pre-inflated. I can't physically get any more helium in that, which... so it's still a bit of wiggle room.
So that was the auto cut-off, so that just
stops. It just stops filling it. It works exactly the same. I have left one ribbon.
Very sensible. Is it this one?
Thank you, Greg.
Oh, no, it's not this one.
Somewhere. There is a ribbon there.
Let's find the ribbon, shall we? There's got to be another piece somewhere.
There's got to be. I might have tied it when I tied the bouquet like an idiot.
Okay.
My apologies.
She'll be back very soon, ladies and gentlemen. A few moments later.
Hold that, Greg, don't let it go. Just going to tie my ribbon in securely. This was actually in the...
Do we sell this?
You do.
Available at Balloon
It's
Market.
a fab. Grabber, I've got some lovely foils.
I know.
Really lovely. So yeah, so tying your foil in. Everybody does this differently. I put a knot in mine first.
Oh.
And then attach it to your tie-in point.
Oh, I've not seen that technique.
And only just because I just know then that that's really unsecure.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of people just tie it straight in.
When we first started the business and we were doing balloon in a box, working from home, we just rolled them all.
Yeah,
Didn't
rolled it in.
Yeah.
I just feel like for me it just holds it in place.
Belt and braces.
Belt, what's my dad saying?
Was it?
Yeah, everything.
You're saying I'm old?
Are you as old as you feel?
Yeah.
There is another saying to that.
So you're like 25, aren't you now?
Yeah. Same age, Greg, but you know, it is how you feel. I would love you to just curl this ribbon for me, if that's okay.
Okay.
I don't like solid curls, so I'm going to
trying to curl it, it's
demonstrate
not
on
working.
one.
Oh, is that what these scissors were for?
Yeah,
I'll curl the ribbon.
So when we
I used to do
curl-
this all the time, you know.
just really soft, not too curly.
Oh, it might be too curly.
And then
Yeah, too curly.
That's quite nice, actually. I do like them quite loose. I don't. And again, if you're doing big bouquets, sometimes you do need to cut the ribbons off.
I do like them tight.
Do you? I think it just depends on.
Oh! Oh, all going horribly wrong.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you like things. I like mine quite soft, curled but soft curls.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, Helen.
Hey. A little bit more tape. Sometimes it can be this foil, and the way round that.
It's cold in here.
It is cold, but it just depends on the material of the foil. So sometimes there's two ways of doing it. You can either get a bit of nail varnish, three ways. Nail varnish on the balloon. You can put, you know, the pens that you can use on balloons. If you just rub them over, it takes the colour off slightly.
Yeah.
And that just lifts the colour off, so you can then stick two pieces together if it's easier, but just take the colour off. Some of these don't stick very well.
Very nice.
And then just to finish that off, we're going to add coordinating colour. I like to add a, I'm going to mind that 3 completely. But I do like a little collar on my
And your hedgehog.
hedgehog, or any super shape if it you know, warrants it. I just think it finishes the design off nicely.
Well, there we go.
So again, this would be taller,
Yeah.
just to fit in, but for screen purposes. So we'll show it properly finished off.
Okay. So that's design number 2.
And number 2.
All right, we need to clear up the clicky finger thing.
Should we do it again?
Yeah, yeah.
Ready?
Okay, you're going to get it right this time.
I'm going to get it right.
1, 2, 3. Oh! What?
You need your space, and I'm fine.
Oh, it's because you're a
Without
beginner.
my room. I
Oh,
know. I'll
goodness sake.
find my room.
All right,
Is there
okay.
we need a little marker down the middle.
We need something. Anyway.
So third design, keeping it again on along the same theme. We've gone for a column, same
column,
base. This time, instead of using the number just for a bit of variety, we've gone with the theme of the mermaid.
That's nice.
We've added the pearls. I do find sometimes with these bigger foils, the head wobbles.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've added a string of pearls, everybody's favourite.
Yeah.
Clear floated, so they're nice and clear, and the basic smaller number, so it gets a little, I call this one my bit of everything.
Okay.
So rather than having a number and having to work the theme, we've got the theme and we add the number.
So are these balloons again from another retail pack?
So
Or are
we're
they
going to
these?
add in the
But these plain ones here, are these?
plain ones. We do it with individual colours, not as a multi-pack.
Okay, all right.
We can get a multi-pack in the larger packs, but the 6 packs are all single colour.
Yeah.
So I've used a multi-pack, and then they coordinate with the 6-pack just to bring the theme in all together.
Okay, all right.
Bit of both. And you could use those in the middle if you want.
So you're helium filling these again, so we're
Yep.
focusing on the helium, but you're doing something a little bit different
Yeah.
using
Clear flow.
clear float. Okay.
Yeah, so Clear Flow is a fairly new product that Gemar have launched, and again, made for the balloon professional. The result is worth it because people use it in latex, but if you use it in your 260s and your modelling balloons, especially on a design, but these designs, I've had customers say 3 months later, the design's still going,
Yeah.
but the one thing that's going to go is your modelling balloons.
Yeah, yeah.
So use your product inside.
So what it does, it
That's
affects effectively helium and air go through latex eventually. Helium.
So if you think of spaghetti, it's all mandled up like that. You've got the holes in it. This will go inside the balloon, coat the balloon inside, and just fill in those gaps so the helium can't come out as quick.
yeah.
So you get less deflation.
Yeah, and so the same happens with air, but over a much longer period of time because the molecules of the air are bigger.
Yeah.
But
Like the technical side, Greg.
God, yeah, all about the science. So these, the modelling balloons, it just makes them last longer.
Yes.
Just looking good for
Absolutely.
longer because there's less air in there.
They will last. I mean, we were at Spring Fair, 5 days?
Yeah.
Pre-inflated,
Yeah.
2 to 3 days before, and they still looked great on the last day.
Okay.
And out of all of our big design, Kerry did a little worm, and he got the most attention.
Okay.
So yeah, that's all
cool.
good fun.
Okay, show us what you do.
So with Clear Float, it's a little bit thinner than other products on the market, and again, when you're using it, it's less gloopy. It coats the balloon a little bit better, but there is a technique that we show you to use it. So the clip's already on. This is it's 2 grams. It's not a lot of product.
That's not going down a lot
tiny.
at all.
Yeah. There is, on the back of the packet, it does give you...
Are you sure you put some in?
Yeah. You can feel it there, look.
Oh, yeah.
2 grams, that's all you need. But it does tell you on the back of the packet what to use for different size balloons. So this is a 13
So you just get the one clip, but you pump it multiple times.
Yeah.
Makes sense, really.
But again, I think you find as decorators, you get used to over a period of time. It's like when I tie my latex. Yes, you work to a size, but you get to do it by eye. So the more you do it, the more you learn.
I quite like the feel of it inside.
It's nice, isn't it? It's nice and gloopy. Yeah. So I tend to push the air out of the balloon because what you don't want to do is get air bubbles inside the balloon. Yeah. Push the air out, lock it with my thumb, and then just massage the product into the balloon. You don't want to be working it up too much. You get the air bubbles in, they'll pop, and then that will help the balloon deflate a lot quicker. So once you feel you've got it around the balloon, I then push the bottom of the balloon through to the lip. Don't want to get any into the actual end of the balloon. So when you feel like that's fully coated, and again, you're massaging it rather than working it into the balloon, that then is fully coated, ready to go.
Okay. So
and because it's slightly more watery, it coats the balloon a lot quicker drying time, 40 minutes. So, a lot of the time when you're working especially if you're in a shop, you're quick and easy on. People come in, can I have this? I'll come back in an hour. Yeah. Make your bouquet up, and in an hour they'll be ready to go and dry. So we're going to inflate, even though the Gemar balloons are a slightly bigger form, so this is a 13 inch, we're still inflating the latex to 11 inch.
Okay.
And you want to inflate to the full belly. So there's a little bit of wiggle, but you've got a nice shaped balloon. And my way of tying helium, I always put it between my 2 fingers and I twist my balloon. So that way I know I'm not going to lose any air. I've got my long neck there. My string is ready to go on this one.
Very good.
And again, usually we'd use the method of 29 inches and then 7.5 and 7.5. So I'm just going to do it by eye. So I'm going to the top of my first balloon so it sits comfortably. I'm taking my ribbon over my top 2 fingers. So I've got the tail ribbon, and then this goes over my thumb, behind, and then goes through my thumb and forefinger, and you can then roll that off the balloon. Now, Greg, you might ask a question here. Why do you tie it like that, Helen?
Why do you tie it like that, Helen?
Well, if, for instance, you've got 10 tables to do, and you want them all to look the same, you do need to make sure. So I line mine up, and then you can literally move
the ribbon
rather than it being static.
Very good. And so you mentioned something there that was 29, 7.5, 7.5. So basically that's 29 inches. The first
29
ribbon.
inches. So if you imagine people are sat at a table and you've got a bouquet of 3 and you sat down, what you don't want to have is your balloons in eyesight. So we usually say from the table, if they're table balloons, 29 inches gives you a clear vision for everybody at a seated position. And then when you've got your bouquet sat, your first balloon, I'm going to alter that one very slightly, sits halfway and then halfway, so they sit nicely. Staggered balloon, which we did, layered balloon, staggered balloon.
Yeah.
Layered balloon is 3 and 3,
yeah.
and the bases sit just inside the top of the balloon. So again, it just gives a nice effect on the eye.
So you're saying after you've tied your knot at 29 inches, the next one would be 7.5 inches above that, and the next one would be 7.5 inches
7 inches, sorry.
7 inches, sorry.
And then with your layered bouquet, it's 10.5.
Okay.
Because obviously the balloons are all sitting together on top, not underneath.
Yeah.
So the 0.5 just gives that neck to sit inside, so it looks a bit neater.
And that just gets it. So that's if you've inflated them to 11 inches.
Yes.
So these balloons are roughly
And
15
again,
inches.
a lot of people say, because obviously Gemar are a bigger balloon, there's a lot
Yeah,
more
yeah.
material there. They still inflate well in a nice shape. You can go to 12,
Yeah.
but you've just got to reprice your helium for that size. And they
absolutely.
still work really well, but you know.
So how are you going to attach that to this?
So
Or is
the
that
reason we've done this is, I found these in your warehouse as well, Greg.
Okay.
Lovely little idea. It's not
we
going to fit
sell
on my
loads of
wish.
stuff,
You
don't
do,
we?
you do.
Ah.
And I really don't want to look anymore because I end up spending too much money when I come here. Little bracelet effect. So these work really well as party favours. So you can put them on a bracelet, a single balloon on a bracelet. That's obviously not going to support 3 balloons.
Yeah.
So what I do, again, I'm going to add this for the birthday person onto the bouquet. I'm just going to tie a 5-inch snugly so it fits on the bracelet. And then
Oh, I'm intrigued.
just add this in with a stretched out ribbon. Add that into the back of the design. So the party person can quite easily take that off and that would then be given to the child.
Ah, right.
So it's just another little added
Love it.
extra.
Love it.
Now this design, we do a course called Fusion, which is bringing together, a lot of people do organics. I've been doing organics for years and I love organic work. But there's a real classic, is there's just so much you can do.
Yeah.
So this design is a little bit of an amalgamation of all sorts of different things. And I do call it my mix and match one.
Yeah.
But the Fusion for decor is where we go classic, organic, bit of helium, twisting. So we try and do designs then to grow your business. You've got a portfolio shot, but you could take each element out and use that as a separate.
Yeah.
So you could create a design, put 3 different things into that design, but it gives you 3 options to promote on your thing, or a big setup, depending on where you're going.
I like the name Fusion.
I just think for me and Kerry, because we've done so much work together and different skills, we developed the training because we want to reach out to people and say, look, organic's fabulous. There's a huge call for it in the market, but there's so many easy ways of adding classic decor in, quite, well, relatively cost effective, which is another thing that we can show you at a later date. But so this design we're going to add to.
Okay.
We'll come back on that one.
Anyway, thank you so much. As a guest on BMTV, you get to ask everybody the question of the week. What is your question of the week?
It's not balloon related today.
Okay.
But this is my favourite question. It's a bit of a party conversation. So if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, doesn't have to be a standard meal. You can choose what you want on your plate. What would you put on your plate? But you can only eat that forever and ever.
Oh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
It's amazing what people come. It's a really good conversational piece.
So what would be your forever meal?
Fruit. Just fruit all day.
No, I'm just saying,
day.
is that the question? What would be your
sorry,
forever
for
meal?
me it'd be fruit. But yeah, so one meal for the rest of your life, what would be on your plate?
Okay.
And you don't have to have sensible food. If you want like a bag of Maltesers and a sandwich and a, I don't know, pork pie, that's fine.
Oh,
But
that's
all
exactly
you're
what I
gonna
was
eat.
going to say.
That's what you're going to eat for the rest of your life.
Wow.
You've got to pick good.
So when you say fruit, you could have anything.
Yeah. See, some people will go pie and potatoes, because potatoes can be. You've got to think.
It sounds like you're playing the.
But if you plan ahead, you can think sensible.
We're talking about this way too
spot,
much already. You're right. It's a conversation starter. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you for
and well
having me,
done.
Greg.
Getting through
Really
your first BMTV.
Thank you.
And thank you. I'll leave your comments down below on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, please do hit the little bell icon. You'll be notified every time we upload a new show. Check us out on Instagram and check us out on TikTok where the fun stuff happens. From myself and from Helen for the very first time. See you soon. Bye.